Demos. Zoltan.
Yes, I would have one.
Aza, who's Aza? I can't remember his name. Is Aza here?
Can you hear me?
Someone is speaking? I'm not sure. Aza is here. Aza, Dimo?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Very low.
Is this better?
No. It's almost.
Can hear you fine, has it?
I don't know why, but no, okay.
I'll do a demo as well.
Okay, Nick. Do we have iDeliverable today? Sipke demo?
No demos, guys, not yet.
Almost.
Why? Busy.
Yeah, that's why I asked for a demo. Okay, so let's go with
work
that.
In progress next time.
Yeah.
Some other time.
Okay, so let's do some status first. Very busy week. Oh, did I push some code? I think I pushed this week something. Yes, I did contribute to the project. Oh, and by the way, I think we'll talk about it. So, Arian typo, we don't care. Daniel, layout optimizations, logging for background tasks from Lombiq, logging for background tasks, sweep tasks name, start processing background tasks, blah 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 information.
Maybe that could be debug.
Yeah, this is kind of verbose. If you do it every time there is a background task, that's between debug and but question but yeah, that could have been debug. And
well, they say that information is about that something happened, and debug tells you what happened and what contextual data was.
Yeah, that's discussable, but okay, you have done something. So look at that. Why is that on tenant number 1? Because we have it in the log already.
Sorry?
This thing on tenant 1 shell name, isn't it already logged?
No, because we are in a background task, and the tenant is only logged if it can be retrieved from the HTTP context, but of course won't work for background tasks. And by the way, that was already there.
That's weird.
Yeah, so if there is a log entry from a background task where otherwise the tenant name is in the log entry, there will be null and nothing more.
Okay, maybe that's something you want to check then. I'm sure Zoltan will create a work item while I'm doing status to ensure that the tenant name in the log is not null from task, referencing this line and maybe the class that we use from Brett to log the tenant name. Good. Cleaning stuff. See stuff. Oh, I changed your code. Yeah, this was my contribution. Refactoring your code. Sorry.
And by the way, did you talk with some security expert, and that's why you changed the equality?
This one, secure string equality, I made it. Actually, it's fun because we kind of have 2 security experts in ASP.NET team, and the one had reviewed the code like 5 years ago with the SHA-1, and I've talked a few times about this with him, and he was like, "You don't care." But the second one cared, so I made it. The issue being that at some point you had, well, when I say you had, sorry, there was, because it was before your changes, there was a comparison between the hash and the password, hashed password, to check if the password was fine, and it's using equality. And equality on strings will stop as soon as the first char is different, or as soon as it finds a char which is different. Meaning, if you look at the time it takes to process the equality, you could guess how long your string is fine or not. Okay, so this thing will at the same time, even if it so if you try 10 times with 10 different strings, it will take the same time to process. So you won't give any hints about the length of your invalid password. Kind of, yeah, pushing the limits, but that's. And I also changed the very simple one. The string pbkdf2 is pbkdf2, and this algorithm points to the one we want to, because there are two different concepts. Very simple change. And it still worked after my changes. So, sorry, I removed that because too much for me. Okay, a method just to check if two strings are equal.
And because it was shorter to write.
Maybe. Not even sure actually, because one, you see, is two chars. This one is the same. Then you have the parents, and here you have, okay, you might have saved one char.
You see?
Bertrand deployment work. Interesting. I'm sure at some point we'll see something, a demo. What is that? Oh, this is layout. Antoine. I think this is a pull request. No, this is yourself. Yeah, but that was an open bug. Okay. Okay, and I think at this point, Zoltan, you broke the unit test. Please check test. Every time, because then after this change, there has been lots of commits, and every time I receive an email alert saying the unit test has been broken. So if you just go to the TeamCity server and see which one is failing, it's related to that.
All right.
Well, actually, to your changes with the disabled shells, I assume. So
Okay, then maybe the unit test was broken.
Maybe. So this one was the race condition we talked about during the work items. It was a lock. Okay. A typo. Preventing disabled shells from started. We also talked about it during last Thursday meeting. Layout work. Improve templated layout elements. Okay. Looks like.
Well, yeah, that's the bundling. So we have changed.
You are also very low. Okay.
Fix that.
Yeah, by the way, you can try to play. If you go on the phone button. Oh, crap, Jay! You forgot to remind me to record. Fortunately, we have Benedek recording.
Call recording is on.
Yeah, Jay, you're bad.
Better?
No, so on the phone there is an icon with a microphone that you can, a slider. I'm not sure if that helps.
Okay, so that's now increased.
Better,
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
For me. Splitting the cookie selector into two, allowing for front-end cookie set and cookie set. What is that? Okay. Oh, did you talk to Daniel about that maybe?
No, I actually came across it.
Okay.
It was driving me crazy.
Different cultures on the front end and the back end.
Yeah.
Cool. What branch? One text because it's only one text thing. Adding home page to list of cultures.
Yeah, the name of that was actually terrible. I don't know why I named it that. It's a bad name for a commit, but it was just adding the homepage to a list of stuff that gets dropped down.
Fixing the ref exception with new blog post items. New blog post item. Okay. Fix. Straight. I have some echo. From 1, 2, 1, 2. Fixed. Thank you. Fixing that holes. Try to accept permission. It should be from initial. Yes, but actually, please check when I added this line, but I think it's me, and I think it's on purpose, so that it might create a new bug actually. Please check in the history. When you have time.
I think this should be pretty safe because this is adding rows for newly installed features, and you can only trust a newly installed feature to be completely installed when the install is fired, as opposed to installing. And precisely this was causing exceptions when you enabled custom forms, because custom forms has some permissions, and those permissions are some information for those permissions are fetched from a newly created table, and naturally that wasn't yet there in installing just in install.
Okay, see. Line index. Care user approval disabling challenge email resend and safe operation should be introduced. Okay, and there is no security issue here because whatever we check the authorize every time.
Well, this was a security issue before, because with a cross-site scripting attack, you could approve users.
Correct. Yep. You can trick people into clicking on a link. Correct. Removing full trust. Yes, but. Oh, wait. Let me finish that. Yes, no. Don't do that. I'm sure it's very small impact, but you should have made it deprecated then. Because we are not doing that anymore. Imagine, that's why I say it's small impact, because I'm sure nobody is using that. But imagine a module is using that. You are breaking the module for free. For nothing.
Yeah, but I'm breaking it for a good cause.
Yeah, you could have made it deprecate. And that's what we do for many things that we don't use anymore, if we don't want to break. At the same time, that's fine because I'm sure no one is using that. Hope so. But yes, we should not use it for us anymore. Yep, good. Right. Boom. But apparently you have nothing to do. Interesting. So you could pick one of the bugs which are blocking us instead of that. Fix vertical, incremental workbox, toolbox. Ooh. Work on. Okay, this should be fine. This is not the 2.0.
We needed it for some drag and drop.
As long as it's not 2.0, because this is breaking many things, and it's on 1.x, that's fine.
What did you say? What is breaking?
jQuery 2.0.
Oh, okay.
Because 1.11 is not 2.0. There is a 2.0 jQuery.
Do many people use 2.0?
I don't know. I'm just doing
Actually-
Orchard in my life, so I don't know. And Orchard doesn't use that, so.
But do we know how it's breaking? Is it completely breaking everything, or
We have many plugins requiring
Mm.
jQuery and which haven't been updated to 2.0.
Oh, okay.
But because it's Daniel, I feel better because usually the issues are with the time zone, the time picker and the date time picker, and he owns it. So if it breaks, he fixes.
Hmm.
Just so updated jQuery and this is weird. What was the name before? Oh, it has changed also the folders. Okay. Where did it go? Where did the date picker localization go?
Let me
Trying
create a
to hide.
screenshot of that. I'll
Trying to
ask
hide
you.
some changes in a bigger, because this is required. See, this is the way for people to define the localization. The datetime picker. Merge the text in the layout editor, fixing priority on route culture selector. Okay, it's a big change from -4 to -3. And implementing proper packaging install process. This is a good transition to a demonstration. So let's show us what you did. I
All right.
give you presenter role. 1 second. Just need to find
Okay.
you.
I'm curious how this works here. Oh.
Beautiful. I can see your screen. Ask Benedek.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, cool. What are these buttons here? Okay, so what's the issue about? Here we have probably the most voted open issue. Well, no place to uninstall a gallery module. The issue is about not being able to remove modules when they are installed. And now this is not an easy task to implement, and nothing that could use a one-size-fits-all solution. So what I've done is that I've built on and a bit expanded the services that are currently there for module uninstallation, and this should provide a base where we can go further to implement everything that may be needed here. So what's now? Oh, and by the way, I also started the document what you should know as a module developer about uninstallation. I've added a bit to the understanding data access documentation file, and I will also take the opportunity to point out that I've also created a 1.9 release notes placeholder. So if you are changing something in 1.x that you think should be also announced in the release notes, please go there and document it. So let's go to this test instance.
Very seriously.
Sebastian, could you repeat? I could barely hear you.
I was saying Zoltan is taking his new committee member role very seriously.
Yeah. That was just one Orchard developer for all the other Orchard developers.
Okay.
So we have a test module here. This is, by the way, test in Hungarian. Let's enable it. And what it does is very simple. It has a single, okay, no, there is nothing to see on the right-hand side, so I will leave these windows here. In this module, there is a very simple migration. There is a create, and there is an uninstall method. So as you can see, the create creates a content type definition or a content type called test, and the uninstall will remove it. By the way, this is just a demonstration, but of course uninstallation is something destructive, so we have to think about possible strategies to handle that. This is a simple start. So the module was enabled, and when we go to content types now, we should be able to see the test or not. That's hilarious.
But this delete content type something that you added?
No, that's in Content Manager. That was there forever.
Okay, because it looks quite dangerous during an installation, because you have to take into account that other modules might have altered the content type.
Yes, exactly. That's why I say that we have to come up with possible strategies to mitigate all these risks, because there is no mitigation currently. So in uninstall you can do anything, and this can be potentially quite dangerous, of course.
Okay.
Because your enable didn't call create, maybe because it found it was already created. If the data migration record hasn't been removed.
Maybe it's interesting because it worked until now, but I will quickly run the setup, and in the meantime walk over through the code, because what happened here is that this uninstall method in migrations was always there. I mean, the option to write such an uninstall method was always there, but nothing was really calling it. Because actually, data migration interpreter or data migration coordinator was calling into the uninstall methods of data migrations through data migrations manager, but this feature uninstalled event, because you see we are in the feature event handler, was never called. And what I've done is set up all the plumbing that was needed for this uninstall process to actually work. Sorry?
Zoltan the plumber.
Yeah, I'm Zoltan, not Mario. And what happens now is, and once the setup runs, I will also be able to show it to you, is that that there is now an uninstall button under modules. I will just close this for now. So under installed, and the package manager now does a lot of stuff. Or not a lot of stuff, but a lot of different calls into different services to enable not just the removal of modules, but was there forever, but also the uninstallation of features. Let's see again, and I'm enabling test, and now we should be able to see the new content type. Yeah, and it's here. Cool. So let's see how uninstallation is. When we go under installed, so as you can see, I've gone from features to installed, what is actually a packaging page. So the features page is served by Orchard.modules, and this installs page is served by packages. So all this what I show is inside Orchard.packaging, and it's also packaging related. So this only makes sense to enable when you are also dealing with packages, not just features, like, for example, on a hosted service like .NET. So what we have here is, and what's new, is this uninstall button. And let me attach the debugger. What this uninstall button will do is that it will run this package manager uninstall methods. This was already there. I just expanded it. So let's see. Yeah, it will fetch all the features of this extension and disable all these features. So first, before an uninstallation, there is a disable. And once the features are disabled, it goes all through the feature states. This was something new for me, and sets all the feature states to falling. And this was something not possible before. And once all these features are falling, in the end, yeah, we will have some calls into this new package uninstall handler that will queue some uninstallation. And why was this not called now?
It's cool.
I wonder whether the migration has run, because it should, but it was not shown in the debugger, what is kind of funny. Because what's supposed to be working here is that first the uninstallation logic runs in the module. Yeah, it's the uninstall in the migration actually has run. Somehow it was just not shown in the debugger. So the content type is not here anymore. And as you can see, the migrations class is also not here anymore because the module was actually removed. So what happens is that first all the features of the module are disabled, then all the features are uninstalled, but means that the uninstall event in iFeature events, I think. Yeah, so the uninstalled event is fired. Well, first the uninstalling and then uninstalled, of course. This also means that all the uninstall methods in all the migration classes for these features are called. So they can wipe out everything they want. And in the end comes package installer and removes the package itself. That means the module. So it will be its folder will be removed. And that also means that the application restarts, of course. So we won't be able to see it under features anymore. Yeah, there is no test here. So that's it. As you can see, it's very simple. Sorry?
Does it cascade? So if a module has a reference or a dependency on that module, will it disable the other module?
Well, as I mentioned, there is first a disable. So if you uninstall a module, that will mean that all the modules that depend on it will be disabled. But just that module that you uninstall will be actually uninstalled. But in that module, all the features will be uninstalled.
Okay, cool.
There is no other cascading effect than that. And this is again, this is very simple. This is more like a start. This is not something that you want to run in production, of course. And also we don't have configuration yet. So we have this single uninstall method in migrations that you can implement, but there is no context. There are no options for that. It will just wipe out everything it wants to wipe out, but the user can decide. So the basic features are there. The issue probably can be closed, but we are nowhere near to have a complete uninstall experience, but we can build on that.
Can you ensure that we have site owner permission on the link and the action, the controller?
Yes, this was actually the case before, because it's in packaging, and it's called from this controller. Oh, and by the way, the same happens for themes as well. So here is the uninstall module post, and as you can see, you can only uninstall modules from the default tenant and with the site owner permission. And the same for themes. Okay, thanks for watching. I will try to answer in the chat. Is there something I have to push here?
Push?
I mean to stop presenting?
No, I will take it back, but don't worry. I would like to present. No, okay. Zoltan would like to present Klein, and I will reclaim presenter role just by while we switch to someone else. Asa, are you ready to show something?
Yeah. Is this better?
The sound is perfect.
Awesome.
what you did, but it's perfect. Let me share pass pointer
Oh yeah.
to Haza. Take it when you want. So for those who didn't see that, Haza tweeted that he had pushed on the gallery.
All right.
First gallery is a module.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's just I'll drop a link to it's basically a small Visual Studio extension that lets you. It's basically like the code gen commands, but in Visual Studio, so you don't have to go into the command line. Basically, it's on GitHub, and I've just put it onto the gallery, Visual Studio gallery, so you should be able to get it from there. There's a link in there. So yeah, I've been playing around with it this evening to make sure it works, and I think I've broken some things. But so it's got a few things. If you right-click on your module, you can add a new scaffolded item, which brings up a little menu.
I don't see anything. I don't know for everyone, but the screen is not moving.
Oh no,
it's
frozen. Oh, now I
That's
see the
right.
cursor moving.
Now your cursor is on the correct Windows. Maybe
Oh God,
Windows.
it's on the wrong screen. How do I change screen? Share window, share screen. Oh no. Oh God. Is this better? Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you. So can you restart?
Yeah. So can you see the add scaffold window?
Yeah, we can see your mouse and your screen.
Okay, cool. Okay, so if you just right-click on a module and then you just add a new scaffolded item, you get this little orchard. It's got a couple of items here. So orchard content part, and you just select add. That's over there. So you just get a little dialog screen where you can choose a part name. You can add your properties in a similar way to Piotr's, which I basically just copied Piotr's idea on the code gen commands and just put it into Visual Studio. So you can have these like so. Like that. This checkbox here, show an admin summary, just adds a placement command to stop it appearing in the admin summary view, because usually you don't want it there, so just leave that unselected. Storage, you can select if you want info storage, just record storage, or info set and record storage. So we'll go with info set storage. Actually, we'll take them both. You can make it a site setting and add a group. This will add it in the handler, so site, and you can also create the migrations here. So we'll make our part attachable, and this is a demo part. And you can select the migrations to run it, or you can define a new class to create. I guess we'll just add it to one. And you can make it a widget, and then you put the name of the widget in this box that's not got a label, which is cool and helpful, I guess. And you just press add, and there's an error. But I think I broke that, and I think it's fixed in the actual one that's on the gallery. And then you also have the type settings, which is a similar thing. It gives you a list of all the parts you have in your module. You select one, and then you just do the same thing. Add, and it will scaffold it and create all the bits and bobs it needs. And then you get a generated code with a nice little comment that says it was generated by Orchardizer. Yeah, so that's the two things. You can also if you have a model that you want to generate migrations for, you can right-click a model and select Generate Migrations. And then it shows all the different, so if you have multiple classes inside a file, it will find all of them. And then you can select the one you want. Again, select a migrations class to run it from. So we're doing that one. Continue. And then it brings up a page that shows all the properties in there. It tries to be clever, so if you have like IEnumerable stuff, it will deselect it. So basically, you can just, if you want it in the migrations, you can tick it. If you don't want it, and you get a few extra details where you can just select stuff. And yeah, it also supports the. So if you're doing, it's the nhibernate underscore ID. It will automatically do those things if you're referencing a model. Yeah, so if we create a new model, second model. Yeah, so if we try that again, generate, no. Yeah, so basically if we reference that like you would if you were creating something real. Like that, and then you generate migrations. Demo model, migrations, continue. Yeah, then it will make it an int and underscore the ID onto it. Yeah, and then when you press continue, it shows you the code it's going to try and create, just in case you want to edit it or you've decided that is fucking retarded and I don't want any of that, and you can just quickly cancel. And then you press continue, and it will hopefully have added it to migrations. Yeah, so there it is. It formats it sometimes. I think someone said, "Can you do updates?" I did try with Roslyn to basically take your migrations file and run it, and then work out if it's different to a model, and then you could do updates from it. But you know, because you can have anything in your migrations file, it kind of got retarded, so I gave up on that. So no, you can't do updates with it.
So
and I decided,
sorry,
you know,
maybe
Sorry,
that was
I
the last.
missed it. Go,
Sorry?
Sebastian.
Sorry, what's your name?
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah.
From?
London.
From London. Another one. Harry. Thank you. Looks nice.
Yeah,
You must have spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, and you can create modules and themes as well. But yeah, it just helps it, makes it a bit quicker.
Great. What website do you work on? Or you've shipped maybe?
Sorry?
What website have you shipped already, or are you working on? If you can disclose it, I don't know.
I work for a small media streaming company. So we create very small websites, usually just for one-off events in Orchard. But we've got a couple of websites for a Haymarket, a marketing firm, and we do Unilever's websites and stuff for their webcasting, internal webcasts. So we've got a webcast platform built into Orchard.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So Antoine shared the link, Piotr also. So that's good. And I'm sure that...
When will you release the SAT module? And the
sorry?
CVCVC. When will you release the SAT module and the CVCVC module?
Oh, yeah.
I would be mainly interested in that.
Yeah, you can see I've been playing around with the testing it.
Yeah. By the way, when you, I may have missed it, but when you add the part, do you have an option to create the driver for that?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
all
sorry.
the
Yeah,
other
because it
ceremonies?
didn't work. Basically, it creates the driver, the handler. It creates everything, the views, and adds stuff to the placement file. So it does it all. Yeah.
And have you thought about? I might have asked that in private before, but have you thought about having support for adding injected dependencies? Like I want a new iSight service in the constructor
Yeah.
and add the private field and everything.
Yeah, I have done that using Roslyn. But if you don't have the Roslyn preview installed and you install the extension, it breaks. But I was going to release it as a separate maybe extension just for people who have Roslyn. So I could show you a demo. I guess there's not much time. But yeah, it just does what you said.
Yeah, we want to see another American-British demo. Nick, thank you, Harry. Nick, your turn.
Okay, cool. How do I get access?
1 sec.
Request presenter role.
Allow. We can see. Oh, it's very small. It's even smaller than last time. What did you do?
Hey, which monitor can you see?
The one with your sound. The one with your mouse. It's so small for me.
Yeah, that's not the one I wanted to share.
Your resolution is huge.
Not the monitor. How do I switch monitors?
Ask Harry.
Yeah, Harry, how do I switch? Share screen.
You press the share window button on the screen you want it on. So you move your presenter thing onto the screen you want to share, and then press share window.
Okay, I've got it. Share window.
Then it goes all like black and stuff. And it's like, whoa.
Yes, we can see GitHub.
Okay, cool. All right. So
please be more succinct than last week. Less detail.
I'm going to. Okay, so I'm just going to show Entity Framework. So what I worked on this week a little bit was how can we plug Entity Framework into Orchard? And so I'll just show what it looks like from this perspective. Does my screen look all orange?
Nope.
Okay, that's most interesting. Because it does for me. So first I'm going to kick up KWeb, which is my Orchard host. And then I'm just going to quickly run my one tenant. And there's MVC is just pumping out a bunch of verbose messaging. Nothing for you guys to worry about. However, the main thing that we need to focus on here is this.
I don't see what I don't know what you're showing, but we are.
Can you not see that I've highlighted something?
GitHub.com.
No, that's not what I'm.
Is it just me?
Hey Nick, I think you shared a window rather than the whole desktop.
Oh, can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Can you see my command prompt?
Nope.
No. Just we can see from adding shell settings the commit to the merge pull request January 20.
All right. Share screen. Okay. Can you see my command prompt?
Sort of.
We can see the bottom right of the command prompt and the full green. I don't know, it's weird.
Are you scrolling around or something? It's like the corner of the screen.
Yes. Okay. So let's not make Harvest in London. No.
Share my screen. This one. It says that it says it's okay.
Okay, I reclaim the presenter screen and I will share the screen again. Pass presenter role to Nick main. Please select the correct screen. Same issue. We can just move your stuff around. We can just oh no. You see your mouse here? We can't hear
Okay,
you.
can you see what does my screen look like now?
Black
bottom
hole.
right,
The same, right?
Bottom right of the command line and a full black otherwise.
Oh.
You
Geez,
can see your
really?
mouse, so that's weird.
I'm not really too sure. Okay, I know what I'll do. Hold on.
You remove this screen and just put the single one and then plug everything. Beautiful.
Does that look better?
Command line in full window now. And we can
Right,
also see the
okay.
taskbar. Yes. And
Okay, that's better. I unplugged my my big monitor. All right. So let me start again. So what I'm going to demo is Entity Framework and how I've plugged it in and why I don't think we need it or why I don't think we should use it. So let me just clear my screen and I'm going to run up KWeb. So this is kicking up the Orchard host, just like my demo last week. And then from that, you're going to see a whole bunch of messages. So I'm just hitting my my tenant. MVC is throwing a whole bunch of verbose messaging. But the main thing that we want to focus on here is these 3 lines. So what these 3 lines are saying is that, hey, any framework has gone and found me a test record or a model. It's created that model, and then it's also saved that model and then return that model. Now, how did I plug that in? So in Orchard, in my controller, ignore all the underlining reds. For some reason, Visual Studio, it's throwing a bit of a wobbly recently. This will be very standard to most people. I've injected an iRepository of a test record into my controller. I have then said, create me a test record foo with a test line of foo. The test record is very bare. It's just got an ID and test line. I'll explain that in a second. We're then saying to the repository, create me my record, and then query my records where I have a test line of foo, and then just give me a count. So something very, very simple, and just output it to the command line. I'm not sure why I didn't put it out to the view, but either way, whatever. So that's all cool, and plugging it in was pretty straightforward as well. If you guys have dealt much with NHibernate, basically NHibernate has a session, and Entity Framework has a DB context. So once you replace one for one and do a few other things, it kind of just works. So the first thing is line 1, acquiring session. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we can find all our records. So after reading about a whole bunch of stuff on the internet, as one does, I came across one of the Entity Framework guys' blogs where he mentioned something about Orchard and how to basically scan for all the records. So if I go to data context, on model creating, so this is my DB context, just like how NHibernate has a session. And the main part here is what happens is it scans through all my candidate assemblies, which are the assemblies that we've compiled and are in memory. We then say, get me all my models where they have a persistent attribute on it. So this is where the persistent attribute comes into play. It's almost like a marker, or it is a marker. And then create me that model on my DB context. So this allows me to build up a big bunch of DB contexts, DB sets on my context. Otherwise, you would have to hard code your record into each context, which is not really what you want to do, as you want it done on the fly. The next thing was just registering more or less all of it. So I'm not going to go into that, but the part I do want to show off, which is really annoying, is so for the longest time this was returning 0, even though it was creating me a record, it was assigning test record ID to be 1. Now, one of the differences between nhibernate and Entity Framework is with Entity Framework, you have to explicitly say, save me my record, else if I query, it won't return. So even if I've got an ID on my record here, if I don't save my changes, this will still never return me this record. So every time you hit create, you essentially need to call context.savechanges, which in essence is creating a transaction and saving those changes to a database. In this instance, it's an in-memory database.
This is called a bit of work, Nick.
Yeah, but this is what I don't like. Because I don't think, I personally don't think we should, for me, the unit of work is spinning up the data context and then closing the data context. So this is the unit of work, not this.
So why did you call save then?
Well, because this won't return this record.
And this is why Hibernate has this feature, which is whenever you try to query, it will commit or save the previous changes, so that your query will actually hit on something.
Well, actually commit a transaction when you query. Is that what you're saying? In Hibernate?
In Hibernate, when you query, yes, it won't commit the transaction per se, but it will commit the records. It will save the records database, and then you can do a query. And everything is in a transaction.
Of course, so it will only get
Isn't there a way to
only hit the database
update?
once you commit the transaction. So maybe that's what we should do here as well. Is this inside of a transaction, Nick?
So I read online that with Entity Framework, you shouldn't actually spin up your own transactions. You should actually let Entity Framework do it for you. Kind of similar to how we say with nhibernate. nhibernate handles the transactions. Entity Framework is meant to do that for us.
But here, Entity Framework is also then committing the transaction when you hit save changes.
Yes, exactly. So you have to explicitly say save changes in order for you to then go and get the record. And that is what I don't like. Though maybe it's just me being pedantic. It just feels a bit clunky. I would have thought that if I say create, ignore the fact that this has saved changes. Let's say this didn't have saved changes under it. I would still expect me to have this record returned because it got assigned an ID. So test record would have got assigned an ID. So why would this not return that record? I don't know. That's one of the things that I found that I actually don't really like about Entity Framework. Even though it works, which is kind of cool. And this is all in the vNext branch. It's one of the things that I don't like. And I still think Entity Framework might be. So I spoke to Bertrand, and I kind of feel after talking to him that Entity Framework might be a little bit too heavy for what we want. And I think there's better solutions out there.
So yes, I don't disagree with that. And when I see kill all DORM from Bertrand, I don't agree 100% with the message, but the idea would be to use a micro RM, maybe something which has less features out of the box and we handle more.
Yeah, so I was looking at Massive or Dapper or something along those lines.
Whatever.
So
Yeah, I saw your IntelliSense. That was fun in the text editor. Dapper, Petapoco, something like that.
Yeah, so I want to have a little look at those. This is all on a branch. This is all on the Entity Framework branch. So if anyone wants to go and have a play, it's there.
At the same time, we don't have to use everything from Entity Framework.
No, totally.
So
it just
we might not need any mapping at all. We might not need lazy loading because everything can be disabled now. and though we can still use link, for instance, from Entity
Yeah.
Framework.
So the one thing I do like about Entity Framework is the amount of providers that come with it. So you can plug into OrientDB, and there's a whole bunch of other DBs that you can literally just plug straight into, and I do like that side of things. I'm just wondering whether Entity Framework is really for us. But that's what I've got on a branch. So if we want to have a play with it, it's still there and it works, which is quite cool. And maybe we can have a talk about it a little bit later on maybe where we want to take it, because
I have some other ideas also. Not about the tool we need to use, but what we need to save and how to save it.
Yeah, same here. I'm just wondering whether maybe we can rejig on how we're saving things. It's, I just took what came from Orchard and just tried to apply the same thing, but with a different ORM.
Bertrand is right, Sultan. So the issue is, what features do we need?
Yes, absolutely.
And can we take an ORM which lets us remove everything that we don't need, because we don't want any things that will slow our process and we don't need. So that's why starting lean, like, let's start with a micro ORM which does nothing, and but we don't want to re-implement an ORM for sure, because we don't want all the features of an ORM.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and absolutely. And I mean, the one thing I do like about the Entity Framework 7 stuff is it's a lot lighter than the rest, like Entity Framework 6.
It supports async await. It will work on K-Core if we want to move to K-Core at some point.
Well, you might see on my screen just here, ASP.NET Core 5.0. So this works on K-Core.
Yeah, that's what I say. And some of the micro ORMs will never work on K-Core or won't be migrated to K-Core.
No, absolutely.
Something to think about.
So the entire branch works on K-Core. So that's cool.
Okay, cool. We have to stop here.
Okay.
We can talk offline or define a meeting for data access, talking about different tools and also how to save data, and also what's the story of the framework that we use in Orchard, meaning how do we persist stuff? Do we want the unit of work pattern? Do we want full transactions? Do we want small transactions? So questions like this. Yep, and EF will be supported. Cool. Going back to the meeting. Thank you, Nick. Does anyone have any question? Something to talk about for 1 minute?
I do, for 1 minute. I want to fix all of the warnings in Visual Studio. So there's like 100 of them, one per module. And I'm not sure really how to do it. So if anyone has any suggestions, what I do know is that they come from the fact that every module that we have in the source code is a web project, and Visual Studio considers web projects to be.
Visual Studio.
Actually, it comes from MS Build, but
technicality. When? Because in the previous version it was working fine, and then we switched version, maybe 4.5.1. I don't know what we did, but.
Anyway, let me finish what you know. So every module is a web project. So Visual Studio considers them to be hosts. So it thinks that the web config files in all of them matters. But the web config file in a module matters not at all. Actually, it matters at design time, but not at all at runtime. So what I explored the avenue of trying to disable that particular warning for all modules, like on a project level, but that doesn't work because it's an MS Build level warning, and those can't be suppressed.
Okay, Daniel, change all the files and change the templates.
Yeah. Okay. So not use web projects anymore. That would be one solution, but then we would lose like all of the nice Razor, Vue, IntelliSense and stuff in those. So I don't think it's desirable. The other solution we could do is just to simply let Visual Studio do its thing. Just walk through them and double-click those warnings and let VS add all of the assembly binding that it wants. Because they have no effect. Like they will fix the warnings, but they will not mess with anything at runtime.
So we can put it in a separate section, maybe, you know what I mean, not commented section, but separate from the main things, and with a comment, this is just to remove warnings, and also update the template in the code generation, and we'll have to update whenever we update the main web config with those dependency reservation. We'll have to update the web files. That's sad, but
yeah.
What I can do on my side, I will go and talk to the Visual Studio guys, and they're just in front of my office, so I can just ask them what's that and what I can do.
That would be
what
cool.
do they recommend? At least we have a recommended solution.
Yeah.
We show that. Okay.
Yeah. Let me know what they say, because if there's no other solution, I'm perfectly willing to do the work.
Okay. Thank you.
Add all of those
and
binding redirects.
And show us a demo next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, everyone. 105. See you on Thursday.
Yeah, see you on Thursday.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Bye, everyone.